Hello, everybody. All right, my name is Martha Alter Hines, and today I'm going to be talking about actually not one, but two upcoming full moons we have in Capricorn. So we're going to be having two full moons back to back, obviously, with a new moon in between them. But we're going to be having two full moons in Capricorn, one on June 21st and the other one on July 21st. With the one on June 21st being at 1 degree of Capricorn, and then the full moon on July 21st being at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So these two full moons are basically bookending or sandwiching the whole Capricorn sign of the zodiac, 1 month apart, with a new moon in Cancer in between them. So this is a really, really fascinating, especially because, as I'm going to show you in a second, there's so much emphasis in the next 2 or 3 months in in the Capricorn area on many, many levels. And not only that, but we also have Saturn going retrograde in between these two full moons, also with Saturn ruling Capricorn. So this whole next several weeks, and actually next 2 or 3 months, in general, is going to be having a very fascinating and really powerful emphasis on this. What is this Capricorn energy? What is this Saturnian energy? What opportunity is here for us in all of that? What are we being called into? What's arising? So many, many layers, and I'm excited to drop into all of it with you. So first, I will bring up the charts of those two full moons. I'll make, this will be the first of probably at least a total of 3 videos where I'll talk about these, because I'll make this video today. Certainly I'll make a video on the new moon in Cancer, which will come in between these two full moons. And then I will, of course, make a video for the second full moon to focus more fully on that. So this video is really kind of the start of at least 3 where I'll talk about these themes. Okay, so first, to show you the charts of those two full moons. Nope. That did not work. Let me try that again. All right, here is the full moon that's going to be at 1 degree, 7 minutes of Capricorn on June 21st or 22nd, depending on where you are in the world. This will come right after the June solstice. So the June solstice happens, when the sun enters Cancer. And so that will happen less than 24 hours before this full moon, or about 24 hours before this full moon. And actually on that day, the 21st, the day of this full moon, I'm going to be holding a free gathering that I would love for all of you to join if you haven't joined already. It's going to be live and recorded, and it's going to be called, I'll talk about it more in a minute, but it's going to be called a Gathering of the Council of Infinity. And it's actually perfect for this full moon, the themes of this full moon. So yeah, so I'll say more about that in a minute. The link is in the description of the video. Definitely please sign up if you haven't already, and you can be there live, have the recording indefinitely, invite anyone and everyone who you think might benefit from being there or being part of it. Yeah, it's going to be, I'm really excited about it. So, okay, yeah, so here is the chart of this first full moon in Capricorn, again at 1 degree of Capricorn. And you can see kind of a beginning here of what's going to be going on. So this full moon will be very, very close to Ixion, Pholus, Quawar, and then over here is Ceres going retrograde, and Ceres is going to be coming along and going retrograde back into the mix of these other three beings in Capricorn. And I made a whole video about Ceres and Pluto retrograde because they both went retrograde in May of this year, and they're going to be doing this retrograde journey with Pluto going back into Capricorn for its last time on September 1st. So we have, anyway, that's a whole topic, and go back, I'll link that video here for you. But that's a whole theme that's happening over this coming few months as well, and mixes in with the energetics of these two full moons, etc. But what this first full moon is doing, partly, I feel like, is highlighting, bringing attention to this Ixion, Pholus, Quawar mix, and then Ceres also. And on a bottom line level, what I feel in the Ixion, Pholus, Quawar combination, which I talk about more in that other video, and Heather Ensworth talks about, is a really powerful opportunity for us to be releasing layers of ancestral trauma, and layers of our own storylines of all the infinite lifetimes we've had on this planet and wherever we have existed as beings of source and beings of whoever we are, through all of time, through all of space, all of it. Okay, and then what's really, really interesting, like I already mentioned, this full moon will be on June 21st, right after the solstice, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn will be going retrograde on June 29th at 19 degrees of Pisces. And when it goes retrograde, it's actually going to be conjunct the centaur Nessus. So Nessus is one of the centaurs, Pholus is one of the centaurs, Chariklo is one of the centaurs. Where is she? She's in Aquarius here. And then Chiron. Those are the four main centaurs that, for example, Melanie Reinhardt talks about. So yeah, so Saturn, when it goes retrograde, is going to be almost exactly conjunct Nessus. And Nessus, again, on a very basic level, all of the centaurs have to do with ancestral healing. And so when I see Saturn going retrograde conjunct Nessus in Pisces in particular, this really emphasizes for me, especially with these two new moons being in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, an opportunity for many, many, many layers of letting go, forgiveness with regard to ancestral trauma, etc. But not only ancestors in the sense of who we are biologically descended from, but I mean ancestors on a more of a metaphorical, literal level, but also a metaphorical level. So the legacy that we carry of all of time and all of space and everything, whether or not we're biologically our DNA is literally connected to it or not, we are the descendants and we are the ancestors of everything. We're the ancestors of the future. We are the descendants of the past. We are all of time and all of space. So there really is no time. There is no space. And so when I say ancestral healing, I mean the body of the time-space continuum itself having the opportunity to let go of past trauma, or trauma, period, the energetic of trauma. And a really powerful opportunity for radical forgiveness in all of it. So that's a fascinating theme through this whole time. And then let's bring in the chart of the second full moon. And here you can see, now this is powerful. This is very powerful. Not that the other one wasn't, but Wow. So this full moon is going to be on July 21st instead of June 21st. And it will be at 29 degrees of Capricorn as opposed to for the 1 degree of Capricorn. And take a look at where this moon falls. It is almost 2 degrees, about 1 degree away from Pluto, who is going retrograde and who's going to be re-entering Capricorn on September 1st. So, in other words, Pluto is very, very powerfully involved in this full moon. And, I'll make another video again, focusing just on that full moon as we get closer to it. But just to say on a basic level, whoa, like, whoa. Again, I feel, such powerful potential for us to be letting go of shame, of ancestral trauma, of guilt, or a sense of we should have done this, or we should be doing it this way, or authority has said XYZ and it's been scary to go. And I'm talking not only talking about now, I'm talking about in many, many, many lifetimes, that if we have that kind of programming in us, or, that kind of talk in our mind, this is really, really, really powerful energy helping us to unearth that and let that go. And actually this second full moon in Capricorn also is going to be trining Uranus, and Pluto is going to be trining Mars. So essentially the full moon will be conjunct Pluto, and the moon and Pluto will be trining Uranus and Mars and Sedna. Very powerful and very supportive of us really releasing, and coming into the truth, the ultimate truth of the divine that is us, Uranus. Unearthing things that do not serve Pluto. And Pluto still at 0 degrees of Aquarius here, which is ruled by Uranus. So, and actually, Mars is the traditional ruler of Pluto. So, yeah, just a very powerful combination. Another thing happening actually in between these two full moons is that Neptune is going to be going retrograde also. So Saturn will be going retrograde on June 29th, and then Neptune will be going retrograde on July 2nd, I believe. And so, oops, sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, so hang on 1 second. Yeah, so that's just a few days apart. So Saturn goes retrograde at 19 degrees of Pisces on June 29th. And then, what is that? 3 days later, Neptune goes retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces. So both in Pisces. And something that's going to be coming up in the beginning of 2025, which I will be talking about so much more, and I'm guessing lots of astrologers are going to be talking about it, is that next year, both Saturn and Neptune are going to be entering Aries. They're going to be doing a dance back and forth between Neptune and Pisces and Aries. Saturn and Neptune are both going to be entering Aries. And then they're going to be doing a dance in 2025 between Aries and Pisces. There's also going to be a Venus retrograde and a Mercury retrograde that also start in Aries and go back into Pisces. And there's this huge theme in the beginning, especially the beginning of 2025, but throughout 2025, of this dance between Aries and Pisces. So as we have Saturn and Neptune going retrograde in Pisces, it's sort of like a nod to that. For me, it's like a touch point, like, don't forget, this is part of what's going to be going on next year. It's going to be really, really powerful, this whole theme of And the nodes are going to be switching from Aries into Pisces the beginning of 2025. So this whole question of the relationship between Pisces and Aries and the continuity of Pisces and Aries, the fact that they are not separate, they're part of the energetic that goes together. That theme is going to be absolutely massive in 2025. And again, I'll talk about it more coming up, but just to say that's a big theme that's coming. And that's, I would say, starting even now. And but now what I feel really particularly alive in all of that is this forgiveness energy and this feeling like with this Ixion Folas Quawar series combination with the nodes squaring that, and the nodes will be, much more closely squaring all of that by the time we have the second full moon in Capricorn. It's for me, it's an energy of acknowledging, yeah, okay, so we've been living in this time of forgetting, and it has sucked, really, like truly. So the structures of, if you want to say the patriarchy, that have been destructive have been really destructive, really, really awful. I mean, absolutely horrific in many, many, many circumstances, and continue to be. And to me, this energetic of the nodes squaring this Capricorn group with these two full moons sandwiching that, holding that space, it's like, and then Pluto coming back into Capricorn, it's like, we can't pretend it's not true. Because on this one level, it's not true. On this one level, we are source, we are the all it is, la la la, we are the one. That's definitely the ultimate truth. But in this reality that we've played out in this time of forgetting, the pain is real. The pain isn't not real. And if we tried to bypass that or just pretend it's not true, something's going to get missed. And it could be basically dangerous. It's not good. When something in evolutionary astrology, when something is squaring the nodes of the moon, that's considered a skipped step. So for me, when something is actively being squared by the nodes of the moon, like it will be, these Capricorn energies will be getting squared by the nodes of the moon, it's really an opportunity in that moment to be held, so that this, whatever the energetic is that's being squared by the nodes, it's like the cosmos saying, hey guys, don't forget to address this thing. Like, come on, I'm helping you. I'm supporting you to do this. So let's do this together. Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. It's like, let's not try to rush through this. Let's not try to just do all love and light and forget that the sucky part sucked. So, and they still do. There's something to be transmuted. There's something to be let go of. There's something to be forgiven. There's layers of shame to be released and acknowledged. And there's layers of guilt, and there's layers of feeling not good enough. And then, but here's the cool thing. Then as we're doing that, another part that I feel really strongly coming in is this need to not only let go. I mean, yes, absolutely let go. And then what is it that, so we kind of have a sense of what is it we're letting go of, but what is it then we're coming to? And what I feel we're coming to is the real truth of what Capricorn is, what Saturn is, which is ourselves as the wisdom of the cosmos, of source, of infinity, that we are ancient, wise beings. But in order to really claim that, in order to really come to that, I think, the nodes squaring all of this is basically saying part of the journey of coming to that in a grounded, real way is to be letting go of all of that other patterning and all of those other, the conditioning and all of that. Yeah, sometimes easier said than done, but we're being held to do it. Okay. And I'm just thinking if there's anything else that really wants to be said right this second with that. There's more. I mean, there's definitely more. And I will probably make, again, I'll make more videos to talk about the more. Um, but yeah, I think that's the gist of what wants to be said about those, just the bigger picture of all of that. Another thing that's absolutely fascinating actually is the new moon that's going to be in Cancer. Let me actually show you that. I'm getting told to show you. It's super beautiful. I'm really excited about it. Okay, take a look at this. Here we go. So the new moon is going to be on July 5th at 14 degrees, 23 minutes of Cancer, and it's going to be exactly conjunct the star Sirius. I am so excited about this. I have been loving recently channeling regarding the stars. So I don't know if you saw I channeled an energetic regarding the Pleiades, and then for the new moon we just had actually yesterday in Gemini, I channeled a message regarding Aldebaran. And so for this new moon in Cancer, I'm getting very clear, loud and clear, I will definitely channel something regarding Sirius. And, Sirius is extremely important, powerful star. So I will say more about that in another video, but that's the new moon that we're going to have in between these two full moons in Capricorn. Really, really powerful and beautiful. And the other thing that's really significant, super significant about this new moon in Cancer is it's going to be squaring the nodes of the moon. And it's going to be opposite Ceres, which is going retrograde, moving into this whole Capricorn group. So if you remember, the full moon, the first full moon we're having on June 21st is going to be at 1 degree of Capricorn. Then the full moon we're having on July 21st is going to be at 29 degrees of Capricorn. But in the middle will be this new moon in Cancer, opposite, of course, the middle of Capricorn, right? Yeah. So very, very, very powerful set of these three, the two full moons with the new moon in between. There's so much there, so much to feel into. And yeah, so again, I feel like this conversation today is just a beginning. It's just the beginning of lots to feel into there. But I would say in this time leading up to the first full moon, so we've just had the new moon in Gemini, and you can go back and listen to that channeling, because in that new moon video, I channeled about Aldebaran, and part of what came through in the channeling was Aldebaran being the eye of the bull and being like a portal for us to go back into essentially seeing through the light, seeing through ourselves as the light. And as we're being held to be letting go of these layers of shame and trauma and karma and blah, 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 all of that, all this Capricornian stuff, the Ixion and all that there, Pholus, etc. It can be a really a beautiful anchor to be anchored in what it is to be the vision of the light. It's also important to remember, of course, that our other anchor is ourselves as Earth. So not to dissociate, but that can be a really powerful place to be anchoring from or with. And so what you could do, one way you could think of this, actually, here's what's coming to me. This is one option. You could think of this time as this first, so it's basically two lunar cycles that we're talking about here. The first lunar cycle started yesterday. So I'm recording this on June 7th. The lunar cycle that started with the new moon in Gemini started yesterday, but we're still in that energetic. I mean, actually, you can always be in the energetic of the beginning. You just take yourself to that place energetically and you're there. But what you could do is listen to the new moon video if you haven't already, or listen to it again if you want. Come into that beginning place, come into that place, that vision of you as the eye of the bull, get taken through the portal back into the vision of yourself as the light, and see what comes alive for you in the beginning, the start of this lunar cycle. Whatever intention comes through your own soul, your own knowing, and how you're being held in this whole time, in the coming months, the coming weeks. Then on June 21st, which is, right at the time of the solstice, also, we're going to have the first full moon in Capricorn. And again, I'm holding a free gathering on June 21st. So something is going to come alive in that gathering. I know it, I'm sure. I don't know exactly what, but I'm sure there will be an it. and you, again, if you feel called, come be part of that live or through the recording, or do something in your own way that feels just right for you. And see what's that next step of you as the light, you as earth is being called into, in concert with the council of infinity. In other words, yourself as everything, and the truth of the light as you as everything. And then over the next weeks, then we're going to have the new moon in Cancer, exactly conjunct Sirius and opposite Ceres. And that will then continue another wave that will start a new lunar cycle, which is going to be so, so powerfully about letting go of the karmic patterning and all that, even more powerful than is the energy right now, I would say. And between now and then, also, we're going to have Saturn going retrograde and Neptune going retrograde. And then as we're in the lunar cycle that starts with the new moon in Cancer conjunct Sirius, then there will be another wave of being held to, be the light that you are, be the earth that you are, be the light and earth as one that you are, and continuing to let go of this karmic patterning and all the ancestral healing and all of that. And then July 21st, we'll come to that second full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees of Capricorn conjunct Pluto. So again, we're being held. Then it's like really, really powerful to be letting go. But the whole time we're held as beings of light. We're held as beings of the earth. We're held as beings of source itself in that whole time space, the womb of the time-space continuum. Yeah. And by then something more will be coming through, and I'm just being told not to jump too far ahead. So yeah, but that's kind of the gist of how I could imagine us potentially holding space over the coming weeks, over the coming 2 months. It's just a very, very, very powerful time filled with possibility of, both being anchored in ourselves as light and earth, and acknowledging that in this time of forgetting, it's been very, very difficult, and it continues to be difficult. And there are ways in which right now we can be letting go on levels that maybe we haven't done before. But we're held, and that council of infinity, which is really ourselves, is always here. And so there's a big, big, powerful role of us coming into union, oneness, and knowing with the beings of infinity again, so that we're doing this all together. We don't have to do this alone. It's not reality. We're not doing it alone. It's not true. When we feel we're doing it alone, it's actually just incorrect. And so that's part of, I think, what's the purpose of that coming through now. But I'm sure there's so much more, and more to be revealed, and more for us to journey on together. And yeah, I don't have the answers yet. We will discover it together. But very beautiful, very powerful time. So thank you for being part of it with me, and please share in the comments anything that comes alive for you. And yeah, please join me on June 21st. Again, live or recorded. Invite anyone you feel called to invite. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. I think it'll be really powerful, really, really needed, really beautiful. Spirit world is just saying, yes, now is the time. We need to come all together, do this all together. It's been too long of us feeling like we're separate from each other, and we're just not. And this is how we're meant to be, is in communication continually with each other as existence. So that's the plan. All right. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon.